Sup guys, Justin here from Out of the Basement, and welcome back to another episode of Figure It Out, Out of the Basement's Black Series talk show. There was a change of plans and we had some scheduling conflicts, so Nate is not available right now, so you are stuck with me for this week. We were originally intending to do our top 10 Black Series figures of all time, our 2024 edition, so stay tuned to that. We'll probably be doing that one next week, but this week we're going to continue our little series and do the figures we absolutely need from The Empire Strikes Back. So hit like, subscribe if you are new. We are always talking about the Black Series on the channel, and let's just jump into it. Guys, we are finally here at The Empire Strikes Back, the greatest film of all time, according to myself and plenty of other people, at least on the technical level. They really upped the ante from Star Wars to Empire Strikes Back. They brought in a new director, Irvin Kershner, and I just feel like he really improved on a lot of the aspects of the original. The cinematography is better, the sound design, the set design.
The Force is with you, young Skywalker. But you are not a Jedi yet.
The story is still co-written by George Lucas. It's a bit of a downer. The bad guys kind of win, and they had the balls to do that. Seriously, the best film of all time. Plenty of iconic Star Wars moments, and a handful of figures we still need. To start off this list, I'm gonna have some take it or leave it picks. If they ended up doing these figures, I would gladly take them and accept them into the collection. However, I would not lose any sleep if these didn't come out. So I'm not even going to waste any time with like text graphics or anything. I'm just going to rifle these off. Wilro Hood, Admiral Ozzel, and General Riken. All three of those I could take or leave, but I just felt like I wanted to put a tiny little spotlight on them for the sake of this video. Now, my next few picks, before we get into like the really heavy-hitting characters, are going to be along the lines of reuse, repaints, or simply characters that we already have in the line that can use an upgrade or a redo, a retool. First up is Dagobah R2-D2, which, of course, Hasbro has already done this astromech figure back in 2020, but I would absolutely love to get it on the new astromech buck that they released with R2-D2 in 2023. It was such a significant upgrade to the sculpt and specifically the size, the scale of this thing. It is so much more accurate nowadays, and I would be lying to myself if I said I wouldn't pick up the new R2 with the Dagobah paint job. Along that same kind of idea, I threw the Snowtrooper into this list because yes, we have a Snowtrooper in the Black Series, but imagine with me for a moment if we got a Snowtrooper on par with the 2020 Imperial Stormtrooper. That 2020 Imperial Stormtrooper has the deep cut single hinges with swivel at the elbow. It has butterfly joints. It's such a good representation of just a classic normal Stormtrooper. And I just feel like a Snowtrooper on that same level, I would buy him again for sure. It's such a significant upgrade, and I think it would be well worth it. Similarly, I would love to get the Empire Strikes Back version of Boba Fett on that Return of the Jedi Boba Fett buck. The Return of the Jedi Boba Fett was such a huge, massive, ultra upgrade compared to the pretty horrendous Empire Strikes Back Boba Fett sculpt that we have in the line currently. That horrible A-frame on that figure, specifically with the legs, is so bad. It's so chunky and bulky, and the articulation sucks. It would be so awesome to get the Empire Strikes Back look on the updated Return of the Jedi Boba. I mean, they have so many Mando bodies now. They have the new Glavis Ringworld Mando. They have the Death Watch Mando. They've been doing different overlays like the Fleet Commander. We have the Return of the Jedi Boba. There's so many bits and pieces to choose from. So I think they could really kill it with an Empire Strikes Back Boba. If you don't know what the differences are between the costumes, there are literal video essays on YouTube. You guys can look it up. It's true. For me, it's like mostly the coloring between the armor pieces and especially the flight suit. But there's also little bits and pieces that are different between the two as well. Holster, handgun, things like that. So I definitely would love to see an updated Empire Strikes Back Boba Fett. Okay, last one on the redos. Last one, I promise. But I think it would be so awesome to get a battle-damaged Luke Skywalker from the final duel of the film on a completely new sculpt. So for this, I would want a completely brand new sculpt head to toe. The one we have in Black Series right now, it's fine for the time, but it's also a, 2013, 2014 Orange Line sculpt. So I think he's due for a 100% redo. And I know not everyone is a fan of doing a 100% redo. Hey, we already have the character. I know it's another Luke. So I think to mix it up, that's why I would go the battle damage route. Fellow YouTube content creator The Force is with Jesse has a video on their channel of a nice custom they did with the Black Series figure. But I've also seen some really cool stuff on Reddit of people modifying their Hot Toys version as well. So I think they could do a good job with this. And again, it's a look of the character we don't have. So it's not necessarily a complete redo. It's just a 100% new sculpt with this slightly different look. Now that I'm sitting down and filming this, I do wonder, would you guys be down for a back-to-tank Luke? The baby diaper Luke? Because now that I'm thinking about it, I mean, if they came out with a deluxe set that had the Bacta, maybe with like a translucent, transparent plastic, a little bluish color with Diaper Luke all battle damage and the mask and the pipe, I'd be down for that. And so up next are the Ugnaughts. I would love to get these in the line. Of course, Hasbro does have a little bit of experience working with Ugnaughts because they did do Queel in the line. I understand that this would pretty much be significantly different, but they have experience working with the species, so who knows. These little creatures appear in a lot of scenes in Cloud City, whether that be picking through the junk and finding C-3PO, or more importantly, the carbon freezing chamber sequence. We only really need a few more. Is it just Ugnaughts we need? I mean, I guess we have Han and Carbonite, but it's not like before he goes in. Whatever. Give us Ugnaughts. It's a very iconic moment. One of the most iconic of the OT, that whole carbon freezing chamber sequence. So let's finish it out. Speaking of completing scenes, we have like one more Princess Leia that we need in the entire line, at least from the original trilogy, and that is the Bespin red dress Princess Leia. It's almost kind of sort of a blink and you miss it moment in the film, especially because she goes back to the costume that she was wearing earlier in the film after this sequence. But there is a short period of time where she's just wearing this red dress, and it's perhaps a bit more sentimental with the passing of Carrie Fisher, and I'm just like, yeah, let's just go down the row and get every single look of Leia. I mean, why not? And we pretty much do from the OT, with the exception of red dress Leia. There's also a pretty good looking hot toy of this figure, so I think it would look pretty good on the shelf. 2-1B has always been a pretty iconic look to me. Basically, the medical droid, like the little surgeon robot droid guy. It's such a nice, interesting design. We love the droids here at Out of the Basement. And Hasbro typically kills it with droids. I know a lot of them have issues standing up, but it wouldn't dissuade me from wanting a 2-1B. This surgical droid, while for sure not the same one, but it also appears in Revenge of the Sith working on a charred Anakin Skywalker, and I think this would really help with world building because 2-1B could probably end up in multiple different displays, and it just helps flesh out that general droid population side of things. Up next is the Bespin Guard, and quite literally, I don't care who they choose. Just find a random screenshot on Google Images and just make that Bespin Guard figure, Hasbro. I do have one more character on this list, and you could probably tell who it is, but it's a character where I feel like they need the Bespin Guards, and TVC has done a couple of these Bespin Guards, and they look pretty darn good. I like how TVC actually has a variety of them. There's like 2 different ones you could choose from, or get them both, like I probably would. Whatever ones they choose, it's just make like 1 or 2 of them, and I would be satisfied. With Empire Strikes Back, it's like, if you really think about it, we're almost there. We're almost there. This list isn't that big compared to A New Hope or Return of the Jedi, I feel like, because there's no Cantina sequence and there's no Jabba's Palace sequence. So the list of figures to really solidify our appreciation of Empire Strikes Back, it's not that big. And I feel like out of the three, Empire Strikes Back is the most doable, where these figures could come out and I would be fully satisfied. A New Hope and Return of the Jedi, we're probably going to be waiting a long time before we're fully satisfied. So give me the Bespin guards. And of course, you already know our number one pick for the Empire Strikes Back is Lobot. Now, this character does get a little bit of hate because, well, maybe not the character, but choosing it as a figure for Hasbro to make, it does get a little bit of hate because it's just a guy in clothes with a little bit of cerebral things over his head and electronic doohickey thing on his head that, I don't know, is it like mind control or what is that? Whatever it is, I've always been infatuated by it as a kid, and now that I'm an adult, I want a Black Series action figure form of this character. And it's all about completing scenes. Give me the Bespin guards, give me Lobot, and then, hey, we can complete this scene where we have Boba and Stormtroopers and Han and Carbonite, and then you got Luke coming with his blaster and R2 behind him. The theme here is completing scenes. I think Lobot is just another one of those classic OT side characters that a lot of people get attached to and want figures of. I know, the people who typically range on the younger side and they're huge Clone Wars fans, I know you guys love your clones, but let me just have my one Lobot. You can have 50,000 clones, just let me have my one Lobot. And that is it for the greatest film of all time, The Empire Strikes Back. Let me know what you guys think. Did I miss any? Because of our scheduling change, I kind of threw this list together last minute, and I'm filming this by myself, and I'm like, what am I forgetting? I gotta be forgetting something. So let me know in the comments down below if I am forgetting something. And if I did forget something, and it's from Empire Strikes Back, I probably also want a figure of it. Whatever you're thinking, comment down below. Leave this video a like and subscribe if you are new. We are always talking about Star Wars The Black Series here on the channel. If you are in a position to help support the channel, we do have a few channel membership tiers. That really goes a long way, so huge shout out to all of our channel members. There is a link to that in the description. If you can't, no big deal though. Simply liking, watching our content is more than enough for us. Stay tuned for the top 10 Star Wars Black Series action figures of all time. Our 2024 edition should be dropping next Friday. Join the Discord. Join us this Sunday at 1 p.m. Central Time. We live stream every single Sunday. They're tons of fun. I think we're going to have some guests this week and the week after that, so stay tuned. I've been Justin from Out of the Basement, and we will see you guys next time.